biomedical sciences, and I'm double minoring in chemistry and sociology, and I'm also a student in the Honors College. So I do volunteer at the Flagstaff Medical Center in the emergency department. It's mainly comprised of just stocking like the IV cards, patient rooms, interacting with patients as well. And from those experiences, I've learned how triage works essentially. So when a patient is first admitted into the hospital, how they're assessed and how certain patients are ranked higher in terms of when the physician will see them. I've learned that whole process, which is great. And there's also opportunities to shadow the physicians at the hospital as well. So I've done that numerous times. I've shadowed multiple physicians, and I've seen patients that have cancer, some people that just come in for cardiac problems, and I get to see how they're assessed by the physician, what steps they take after that, how the physicians refer them to other specialties. And that's just really opened up my eyes, and it's a great way to put my foot into the door as I am interested in becoming an emergency room physician myself. And then I also do research here with bioinformatics, mainly looking at the TP53 gene in mammals and investigating that with cancer in mammals and humans. I do take a lot of credits every semester, and then I also do a lot of off-site involvements, and on top of that I am studying for the MCAT exam for medical school. But for de-stressing, I love to play with all three of my cats. And then I also just do small things that I enjoy, so just like playing the violin or reading for like 20 minutes every single night, and just like enjoying that like small little bit of time, and then I can get back to my priorities and focus on school again.
I actually got into rock climbing through NAU. I took this Wilderness Welcome rock climbing trip where they took us around and they had us climb outdoors with ropes and without, and they taught us everything there was to know about climbing. Just absolutely fell in love with the sport of rock climbing, and so I got a membership to a bouldering gym off campus, and I've climbed there for 3 years now, and it's just been my hobby. I've absolutely loved my almost 4 years in the College of Business so far. I think the business ones specifically promote an environment of professionalism, which is very helpful in the field of business. My favorite class in my major was Management 340, which was titled Business Ethics. I just found it fascinating how they were able to combine a business class with a philosophy class, and it was a class that was almost completely based on discussion because there was no right answer to some situations. So it was just kind of getting to the resolution of what would be the best for most people, and that's what you'd have to do as a manager. Kind of have to look out for your team and your company as a whole, and I think it's good to practice those. It's just so much fun being around the same people and getting to know them and knowing that you're all striving towards the same goal.
When I started applying for colleges, I was set on staying in California, and my aunt was like, oh, you should check out this school called NAU. I looked at the website and I automatically fell in love with the school based on the website. I don't know what it was, but I signed up for a tour and I came to visit the school, and that just made me want to come here even more. And yeah, I came to NAU. So originally I was a public health major. I ended up switching to comm, and that was the perfect major for me because if it weren't for that, I wouldn't have found my internship, which I love. I interned with NAU Social, and it's basically we help run as interns the social media for the school, and we get to go to a lot of events and we get to get content, and sometimes I get to write blogs, which is fun. That's my favorite part. And it's a little family that I got on campus. So definitely don't limit yourself. If anything, like even if you're like me, set on not, or if you were like me, set on not going to school out of state, at least apply, because you never know, you could change your mind. And also, when you do get to school, to just enjoy every minute of it, because it does go by really fast.
NAU made me feel really at home whenever I connected with this girl down my hall. We were both living in McConnell at the time, and she was like 2 doors away from me. We had a hall dinner at the Dubai Center, so we all went, and she was wearing a cheer jacket, like her old high school cheer jacket, and I was like, oh my god, I cheered, and she was like, I cheered, and so then we connected off of, we both cheered, and we established like a friendship. We were both kind of like scared to go out of our comfort zone and scared to meet new people, but we encourage each other to like go and find new friends and go sit next to people and go to like SI sessions and go to the running of the freshmen, which is really fun. I remember me and her both were super nervous because we were not ready to run a football field. I feel like the adrenaline rush and just sitting down in the stands and like feeling like this is what a college football game feels like, and like kind of feeling like this is NAU, this is going to be where I'm living for the next 4 years. So I think at that moment was like very breathtaking for me. The class that I took that really intrigued me into public health and why I wanted to go this direction was Anatomy 202, and that's the physiology of the human body. So the digestive system, the respiratory system, the cardiovascular system, and I was just so intrigued by like all of our systems in our body and how they connect and work as one. And it just intrigued me to be like all of our body works in different ways and no one's going to be the same. Like all of our bodies are different, but we have one core function. Like the cardiovascular system's pretty much similar to everyone. I don't know, I just like, NAU just has like this special like feel to it. Like everywhere I go on campus, like I can feel like I'm connected to someone. If it's like the Chick-fil-A worker or like walking into like the math lab, like I feel like they're eager that I'm there and that like, how can I help you, or that kind of feel.
So the first thing I did was I joined an intramural soccer team because I played soccer since I was 3 years old, played competitively in high school, and I wanted to keep that going. I wanted to stay fit in a way that I enjoyed, and that is soccer. Up here, everybody wants to learn, everybody is excited to learn what they're studying, and then it's just a whole different atmosphere because people can just dive deep into their studies and be passionate about what they're doing because they're choosing their path, they're choosing what's going to happen for them down the road, and it just makes the environment completely different. So I am an elementary education major with a concentration in foreign language, and my biggest goal in life is to make an impact, and I think teachers are some of the most influential people in a child's life, and they really do make that impact. And in the terms of going into foreign language, when you work in underprivileged schools, a lot of parents from Spanish-speaking homes cannot speak English, so having that second language is going to be really beneficial when it comes to parent-teacher conferences and things like that. And not only can I make an impact on the students, I can make an impact on their parents too. So I'm taking a class right now, ESC 280, which is a class that talks about students with special needs. And I grew up with a cousin who had Down syndrome, and he was like my best friend growing up. So learning how to work with those kids in schools is going to be really eye-opening to me because I know how to do it on a social aspect, and it might be different because he's family, but learning how to do that on a professional kind of level is going to be really important for me, and I'm really excited to get into my practicum next semester or next year, and I can't wait to like put everything I'm learning into like action and see if this really is the right fit for me.
Being from Nogales, which is the border town here in Arizona, is very similar to kind of being out of state. It's 5.5 hours to get from Flagstaff to Nogales. Since I am from a Hispanic community, it's been a little bit more difficult to be away from family because I feel like in a Hispanic community, family is always very close together, and it's very different trying to find ways of communication and days that I can actually go back to Nogales to visit all of them. I was originally set on journalism as my major, and later decided to change to secondary education just because I felt like it best suited me as a person. I chose English as my subject because I have always been very interested in creative writing, such as poetry and fiction. I've even been getting into a lot of nonfiction lately. But I've also been very much into the grammar of the language as well. I'm actually the type of friend to always correct punctuation and grammar throughout text. I just can't wait for the day that I put on my cap and gown and get my degree that I worked so hard for and celebrate with my family, and then get on that career path where I can teach all my students what I love.